this is a story about a project I embarked on starting in 2014. I went to Germany. Was for my wife's 50th birthday. We went to Europe for a month, and part of that was I ran off to Germany. Well, we were outside of Paris, but I ran off to Germany for what a place called Schwabmünchen, which is about an hour west of Munich. And they have an annual Segelflugfest there, Segelflugmesse, which is basically a glider trade fair. All the major glider and related manufacturers show the newest wares, and small guys, big guys, it's a complete thing, okay? TD ships, heavy emphasis on scale, like Aerotow type scale stuff. But in one little corner in the back, there was a guy with this gorgeous 3.3 meter antique glider. And I looked at it and I said, that looks pretty new. And he says, yep, it's brand new, and it's a 1941 design, but his friend, what's his name? Alfred had done the CAD work to convert this to be able to be produced by CNC, which is what the guy Joe Schuster does. And it turns out the Joe, or Yo, his name's Jochen actually, I think, about 20 years ago, you might remember my friend from Germany I taught to fly, Arne, and he was here on assignment. He's a double E working on IC test equipment, and so we became good friends, and we're still good friends. I go to visit him every year. He comes over, and it turns out that Yo is a club mate of his. So he started talking to him about, you know, can I get a kit or two or three, you know, and they weren't ready, but they were ready for production about 6 months later. And about 8 months or 10 months later, the kit showed up in the mail. So, and then it went on a shelf. It happens with many things. You know, life got in the way. But basically, the guy who designed this in '41, Paul Hucke, was very fascinated with antiques and old stuff. And as the years went by, he started archiving all of the old designs. So in here, in this kind of catalog, you're welcome to look through it, is what he's archived over the years. And I think it's up through the late 50s. Maybe there's a couple, because I know there's an Elf S4 in here, building plan. And so when he passed away, somebody got the idea to resurrect. Well, his family, his daughter and her husband, decided to market the plans that he had in the book, you know, the directory. And Alfred and Joe decided that they would like to produce this. So they struck a deal with the family on the copyright, and they allowed them to copy the design, make a modern version, because this was originally a free flight glider. And, you know, launched by High Start, essentially. And so the way they worked out the deal was they could sell the kit but not the plans. So you buy the kit from Joe and you order the plans from the Hucke family. And it works. It's just a little cumbersome, but you just PayPal them the money and they send you the plans. So it caught my attention because I got to see him fly it at this event, and he just high-started it and he just kind of putzed around. It's a real gas bag. I mean, it goes up on a fart. So it's and it just looks so pretty in the air. You know? Let's see if this video works. So it's a pretty big plane, but it's just the old-timer aspect of it is fascinating. It sounds like he's going to get towed. Yep. It's a little strong. Yeah, he's a little stronger than the original one. I would guess. I don't think in the 40s they had winches. I think everything was tow or high start.
So this can take the stresses of Aerotow.
This version can, yeah. And if you look at the kit, that's a lot of ply, birch ply, light ply, but it's very strong. One of the flights he made at the festival, he got caught in like a downdraft, and he kind of dorked it. It just kind of bounced. So, didn't hurt it a bit. So it's a rudder elevator ship, and one of the options is to put spoilers on it. And I've been advised that if you like really a lot of thermal flying, the spoilers are helpful to getting it down. So here's the, whoops, go back. Oh, I can't find the thing to stop it. Well, I've got the details.
Baseball.
Huh? When all else fails, listen to Walter. Okay, so there's the details. Get out of the way. So it's about a 5-pound glider with the radio in it. So the design's been slightly changed to accommodate RC, like the full flying stab, which obviously just had a trim tab before. And the profile is GO280, Clark Y at the root and GO285 out beyond there. So no idea why they did that, but the GO285 is symmetrical. So, but anyways, it flies great. So it's not like some old designs that are crummy flyers. This one happens to be a very, very good gas bag for thermaling. Go away. Come on. Oh. There we go. So so the one thing I couldn't find, it's home someplace, but I have a CD from Joe Schuster which has the modern build instructions and step by step. But to give you a flavor of it, there's a build thread. Here's a build thread from Germany, and there's the original CAD design, the start of it. Then his first CNC parts. And if we go, and there you can see the stab arrangement. And then the construction, because of the style of build, you need to jig it somehow so you can get it straight. So the one guy, this guy found that putting the blocks clamped to the bench was the easiest way. If you have an adjusted jig or a magnetic building board, you could use that to get everything squared up. But there's no crutch included with it. Well, that's not true. There is a partial crutch included with it. But this guy decided to do it that way and it worked out for him, so. So there's fully detailed, builds. There's 2 or 3 of them on the German forum, and you can just use, Google Translate if you need to. Here's, I wanted to see the one where he built the wing up. There's the full flying stab equipment. I think I have to go a couple. Oh, so we're asking about the wing joiner. There's the plywood wing joiner. It's like 5mm ply. Oh.
And then how do you flesh out those fillets around the trailing edge?
Very carefully. With a lot.
Wood blocks.
Huh?
Wood blocks, I suppose.
No. Here, let me. There's some sheeting done to it. There's the top view. Just run the sheeting up to it. And same on the underside.
Yeah, I see. Sheeting and block.
Yeah, a little block. Yeah, in the front block. Yeah. Where is? I have to get down to the bottom of this.
Nasal block.
Huh?
After gluing and sanding.
Oh, nasal block? Yeah, well, it's a Google translation, so it's not perfect. Come on. I think this is the one. So there it is in the bones. So there's a bit of, you need a bit of balsa sheeting, and you need some sticks. And I think that's about it. The rest of it's in the kit.
Can you get metric sized sticks
Sure.
here in the U.S.?
Yeah, no problem.
So it's not a full flying stab, right?
It is.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know what that is. Maybe this guy may have modified it. He may have modified it, but the original, this design uses a full flying stab.
And it's a lifting stab too.
Pardon?
It's a lifting stab. It's right on it.
I don't know. And here's the electric version that his son-in-law did. He got his Paul's name on it as a tribute. Yeah, that one's been modified for elevator control instead of full flying stab.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Which, I don't know, which is better. Is it a lifting stab? I don't remember.
Is it flat bottom?
I don't remember. I don't know. Is it over there?
It looked like it was flat bottom.
It's kind of flat here.
Hmm. Would make sense with the long fuselage.
And it's lifting.
Yeah, it is flat.
And it's lifting.
Interesting. This is the one I like, with the translucent covering. So I'm building this, and Geppetto's going to help me finish it, since he's such an expert with all things to do with covering. He volunteered to help me with it, because I wanted to do a really good job. And
You didn't put a motor on it?
there's no. This is just how they did a motor using a long extension tube. I don't know why they just didn't put I guess 2015. Yeah, he could have put a small outrunner directly in the nose. Oh.
So you are going to bring it to Brigantino?
Yeah, absolutely. Got to have some place to fly it. Where's the next?
That's a high start.
Yep. So I love antique scale gliders, and so this was like perfect for sport, type of thing.
And it's interesting, you see with the Gull wing, then you have enough dihedral bits and pieces here and there to provide the ability to turn.
Yeah, with rudder, yeah. I was hoping I can't remember which page the wing build was on. It showed it's a different one. Showed the spoilers added on. So there's the sheeting and the center section there with a piece of block. It's a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But the hard part's done, I think, you know, in the fact that you've got all the formers and, you know, ribs. Cutting all that stuff out is the hard work. I think I need to buy more clamps.
God.
But it's got some of the construction techniques that I like the laminated rudder. You know, the outside rudder is laminated to keep it light and strong and make it ding resistant. I'll put a little fiberglass on the center section. Now there's a shot of the wings before the trusses are put in. Schnellschleifgrundierung.
Quick something.
Yeah, quick drying base coat. So it's shellac, or you know, not shellac, but
Polyurethane?
yeah, like polyurethane. Yeah, thank you. Varnish. That's the word I was looking for. Oh, that's a stab. Full flying. I think there's a couple other things mixed in here. So that's, yeah, this is where I might.
That's not.
What?
That's cloth.
That's cloth. Yeah, I know. I just noticed it. Yeah, but it might. No, that looks like glass.
Is it glass or polyspan?
Polyspan isn't shiny like that, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Is it? Oh.
Or actually, one side is shiny and the other side is a little dull.
It's got sizing in it.
Oh, okay. I've never used Polyspan, so
John is the expert with that as well.
now you know why I enlisted his help. So I'm just kind of in love with it, so I will be doing it.
So how long do you think it'll take you?
Hmm?
How long do you think it'll take you?
About 3 months. Off and on. Yeah. I have a couple other projects I'm involved in. So
Airplanes?
airplane?
Airplane projects?
Yeah. I'm building a 120-inch. I'm doing a prototype build on a 120-inch twin-engine bomber, World War II bomber, Martin, Maryland. So.
What?
Maryland. There's a Marauder. Before the Marauder was the Baltimore, and before that was the Maryland. Maryland was only used by the French and the British in the Mediterranean. It's a personal connection because my dad was a plant manager at Martin during the war. So, and it's very odd looking. So there's a guy named Jerry Bates that does a lot of warbird designs, and he likes unusual planes. So I convinced him to do it. There we go. That's a nice shot. Yeah, so I should probably do a report on Schwab München after this, when I go this year.
You're going to this year?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you.
Sounds like a real gas.
It is, but I have to go because I restarted my importing business and all my suppliers are at that event, so I have to go make deals. After my last fiasco where Rosenthal went bankrupt, it took me a year and a half to settle that, and then I relaunched the business in November at the AMA Expo down in Pomona.
Yeah.
So I've had pretty good response. But it's a lot of work for not much money, but it's fun. That's the full flying stab version. So anyway, I like this, huh? That's a Reebok bag. those are really nice. Padded, rubber handles, and form fitting, and they're not terribly expensive. It's probably 150 bucks for the fuselage bag. It's got like the green felt lining in it. I get them for some of my planes. So I used to get them for the Rosenthal stuff. They're custom made, made to order. Made to order, yeah. And they have standard ones, but for the lighter stuff I bring in, I get the Mylar bubble bags with the lining in them, and they work okay for the TD ships. No, I'm glad I saw this because I was trying to find this font, and there it is, Old London. Oh. Any questions?
I tried to get on Google and find that, I got your, and we went to the email that had that. I couldn't get anywhere. I got all kinds of pictures of planes and everything else. Assuming it was, I thought it was the scale model of a full size.
Oh.
That threw everything out. I saw my whole Cherokee and then,
Yeah, that's in this book, yeah. So it's,
It's originally free flight. How do you decide how much control surface your elevator rudder needs?
oh, that's a good question. I am
depends how far back you go.
no expert at that,
Short
but
woman arm or long woman?
yeah, I mean, typically, like when we fly the old timers, the antiques, they were originally free flight. And sometimes you have very small control surfaces, like for the elevator. You usually want as much rudder as you can get because you don't have ailerons, and it's always usually dihedral or mostly polyhedral, and like this. So, in order to, well, what Joe told me was after he did the prototype, he was glad that he made a full flying stab. And because for
Lots of control.
yeah, lots of control, and he didn't have to move the stick very much to get good control, so he doesn't have much deflection, and therefore it's more aerodynamically efficient. Yeah, yeah. Whereas if you just have elevators, then you have to put them way up, and then you get into all the turbulence and stuff like that. And he said the rudder, you always want as big a rudder as you can get on a sailplane. So can't argue with that, but yeah.
30,
But-
40 degrees probably on the rudder.
As much as you can get, yeah. It's quite a bit.
Yeah.
If you look, I don't know where the stab, I think the stab plan is over there. You can see how much room there is, or maybe you can see it. The stab cut up.
You talking plus or minus 30 or total 30?
No, it should be plus or minus.
On the rudder.
Yeah.
Yeah, 30, yeah, usually plus or minus.
And you can't really see on this one either because they don't show the stab mounted in any of the pictures. So. You can see that's the rudder.
Yeah, rudder's not very big.
No, it's not.
So you're not at 45 on that.
Huh, maybe, yeah. But with the shape of the elevators, the elevator, I think there's plenty of room to, as I recall.
Yeah, look how much it's cut away. It's cut away almost 45.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay, I can't see it from here. All right. Good. Oh,
Washout on wings like this is, I built one gull wing plane, and I don't think I got the washout right because it just flips over.
oh yeah? Maybe you got wash in instead of wash out. That'll make a
easy to
tip
do.
stall. Yeah, it is easy to do.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's why you changed the airfoils.
it might be. Yeah. But yeah, because if it's free flight, it's going to be trimmed for very gentle turns,
Yeah.
right? But when you're flying at RC, you're going to want to be able to bank around to catch a thermal.
Right.
So that's a good point. I noticed when I was looking at the CD that the there's quite a bit of washout in the tips. So it makes sense.
I missed the point about wash up, wash in.
So if you get wash out prevents you from tip stalling when you get slow, high angle of attack,
Yeah.
because your tips are still down. But if you get wash in, no wait, yeah, if you get wash in, your tips are like this. Your leading edge is up relative,
They stop flying quickly.
and then that's when it'll snap on
You
you.
don't know which way it's gonna go then.
Yeah,
That's why you want the tips.
Trailing edge up.
yeah, you want the trailing edge up, just like with on some TD ships, when you come in for landing, if you use crow, you put the ailerons up, and it's the same reason. It's to prevent tip stalling. So,
How do they build that in, wash in and wash out?
typically you do it by blocking up the trailing edge when you're building it.
Jig it up.
You jig it up.
Jig it up.
Yeah.
Okay, not with, I was thinking of what, drag type. If you build something like that in, you could do it, but just put the trailing edge up a little bit, okay.
Yeah.
Some airplanes you can just do it with, the covering material.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
And a little-
Cover the bottom.
and a little-
Actually,
But if you have a detail,
that's where you go wrong a lot of times, is you build the washout in, but then when you cover it, you twist it the opposite way because of the way you tighten it. And that's very common.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I've been guilty of that a couple of times, even with power planes. Trainers, yeah. So,
What do kits like this cost?
€159 plus shipping.
So $200.
Is that,
Yeah, right now it's about 175.
Oh,
So,
that's not bad, really, no?
and shipping's about $30, 35.
Wow, that's good. Yeah. That's good price.
and that's all routed. That blows my mind.
Oh,
That blows my mind.
Why?
A lot of laser cut.
the Europeans like CNC. They like laser.
Could they even do that in this country and
routed.
make money?
Pardon?
Could they even do it in the United States and make money?
Well, there are guys who do routering, router stuff. Remember Tim Candy?
Oh, yeah.
He does routering, CNC.
Does it?
Yeah.
And 3D printing.
And 3D printing, yeah. Yeah, he made some control horns for me for a 4-meter TD ship, electric launch. And it was designed for a specific shape of horn with the IDS or LDS, whatever you want to call the internal system.
yeah,
And
RDS.
RDS, well, there's RDS, LDS,
Whatever.
IDS, they're all this basic, oh no, they're not the same. IDS and LDS are basically the same. RDS is the rotary drive system. LDS and IDS, they use the special frame that holds the servo output arm, or the output shaft, in ball bearings. And so the outside is supported and the inside is supported, and then in the middle you have a control horn that's tiny. It's like the minimum dimension, so you get all the torque.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it uses a carbon push rod, and it goes to a hinge that has the horn built in, typically. So, I'll bring one into a meeting and show you guys. But
Not you have all this time.
yeah, well, I have them in my ship, so you can just pop the servo cover and look at it. But yeah, what was the point I was trying to make? But the 4-meter, this new 4-meter thing, it's what we call GPS triangle racing for the sport class. So it took a Diana 2, 5-meter Diana 2, cut the wing roots shorter to make a 4-meter ship, and then built a fuselage for it. And we flew it at Los Banos, Brian and I. We maidened it. You saw that, right?
I flew too.
Oh, you flew it, yeah. What'd you think? Yeah, I was amazed. And then last week I got to fly it at Half Moon Bay in good thermal conditions, and I was just amazed. This thing has legs like I couldn't believe, which is what it's designed for.
Where do you fly to Half Moon Bay?
At the PCC field. It's
south of
just
Half Moon Bay.
just south of Half Moon Bay Village, yeah. And yeah, I was making triangles, and it was just like it wasn't coming down. It was just going. That's great. So,
Surprise.
but
Marine layer being, marine atmosphere being right there.
We get really good thermals there. We were thermaling old timers today, doing some antique testing and testing me. But the point I was going to make is this 4 meters set up with crow for landing, and I was really amazed at how effective. I hadn't flown a full house ship with crow in years. And I was just really amazed at the really good glide path control with it, because they don't want to put spoilers on it because it adds complexity and weight. And so it's got big flaps and big ailerons, so just hang it all out in the breeze and just control the glide path with the left stick. It's perfect. Except for when Brian blinked it, but
You know what? The wind right then.
yeah, it died.
I stated about 2 minutes prior that the wind is really shifting fast. You guys better think about losing lift here.
Yeah,
And then I launched Tim's plane.
and it went down. Yeah,
Down about 50 feet. And
yeah.
you guys were standing there, and I'm walking down the hill, and whoever was flying it, pancaked.
Brian, yeah. No, he nosed it in.
Nosed it.
Yeah, but got just one little tiny crack in the fuse, so the thing's pretty strong. I'm glad.
Scale?
No. It's a purpose-designed racer.
Design.
Yeah, yeah. I'll bring it in and show it in the club meeting. Pretty nice airplane. In fact, Brian was saying I ought to try it for F5J, even though it's really heavy for F5J. But he thinks it would be competitive. So we'll see.
Brian, he overpowered it too, so.
Oh my God, he had a Sig Senorita out at the field today, and he took off and just went, it's like, you could throttle back. He says, I did. Okay, I think that's about it. We'll wrap it up.
All right.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.